And joining me now is Andy Parrish, Michele Bachmann's former chief of staff. Andy, thank you very much for joining us, because we wanted to get to some of the charges that former staff members, including yourself, have made on this subject. And we should point out that Michele Bachmann's attorney has said that she's done nothing wrong and that he's cooperating with the Office of Congressional Ethics. What do you know about whether the FEC or the Office of Congressional Ethics, which is a preliminary group that reports to the Ethics Committee per se, what do you know about what actually happened in this campaign?
Well, thanks for having me on, Andrea. I was down in Iowa. My family and I had moved down there to work the straw poll for her and pull off that great victory. You know, I'll be honest with you, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, I don't think that there's anything investigating the Congresswoman. And from what I know, I really don't think there is. I think they're seeking out a couple of payments that were made apparently to a fundraiser. And they're also talking about some payments made to an Iowa state senator. But as far as the Congresswoman's concerned, I don't think that had much of any effect at all on her decision not to run again.
Be that as it may, what do you know, and have you been involved in any affidavits or any questioning by these investigators about whether payments, back channel payments, were made in the campaign?
Yeah, I've been interviewed. I've been interviewed by the Office of Congressional Ethics. You know, I did submit an affidavit to the Iowa Senate Committee. That was mainly to let them know that any payments that were made to an Iowa state senator, certainly the Congresswoman was aware of, but she was also told that they were perfectly legal payments to make, and that she had instructed all of us at all times to follow the law, which I believe we did.
Why were the payments made to this is the Senator Sorensen in Iowa, the state senator?
Well, I mean, we'll see the outcome of that investigation, but I can tell you that that's the arrangement that was set up, was that he would get paid through a different LLC, and at the end of the day, the Congresswoman was assured that that was a legal transaction. We all were, and I still believe that it was.
Why have some characterized this as money laundering?
Well, I think it's look, she's a lightning rod. She's a conservative lightning rod. She's a conservative hero to us here in Minnesota. We don't have very many conservatives, and I think that when you can kind of poke the cage a little bit, I think that people do that. And here's a great opportunity, I think, for some individuals to try to make a name for themselves, try to get a little bit of press, and try to poke at her. When in reality, I mean, you can't name very many members of Congress or presidential candidates that are involved with payments and how people are paid, and they're just not that involved in the minutia details like that.
Are you surprised that she's not seeking re-election?
I am. My wife woke me up at about 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning Central Time. When the video was posted, she was feeding our little boy, and she said, "You're not going to believe this," and I have not been able to go back to bed since. The field is already getting crowded in the 6th Congressional District, and people are going to have some great choices to choose from for Congress next election.
And why do you think that she cut a TV ad? Only last week we saw a re-election campaign ad, so this was a sudden decision. Why would she make such a sudden decision, such a change of mind?
You know, Michele I've had the pleasure of knowing her and serving her, and Michele is not what I would classify as a politician. I believe she's somebody who in her heart feels like she's doing the right thing, and she feels like she's changing the world, in which some ways she has. And with Michele, if she just felt her time was up, she felt her time was up. I don't think that there's anything that could cause her not to run. The Republican district that she sits in, depending on the partisan voter index that you look at, is somewhere between a +7 Republican and +9. You know, we had Obama on the ballot last election cycle, and Mr. Graves caught a wind and rode that wind, but I'm confident she would have won again. It just the district is that Republican. I think in her mind, she just decided, I've served my country, I've done what I feel is best, and I've done the best job that I can, and now it's time for somebody else to do the job.
Andy Parrish, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Andrea.
You bet. Now to New Jersey.